It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron, and alongside me is Rick Blaze for the morning. I'm in the host chair with Marsh being out for a little bit. So, Rick, you can see a lot of me for the next few weeks.
B-Ron, what's up, my brother? SimWorld Today, what's up? Wake that ass up. Hello, players only live once.
Good morning, everybody. Let's get this thing going, shall we? Starting with the SWFL. The Chiefs, man, they just continue to find ways to win games and stay undefeated. This time, using a blocked field goal as time expires to win their game against the Broncos yesterday, 16-14. And once again, hang on to the perfect season for another week, Rick.
First of all, B-Ron, I want to give you some credit, and I want to say I'm so glad to have you on this morning because Marsh for sure would have talked about the Texans loss, and I'm not in the mood, so I'm glad we can talk about another team. The Chiefs has found another way yet again to win a football game. They got down 14-10 early in the first half, and they completely shut out the Broncos in the second half. Everyone keeps waiting for this Chiefs team to turn around offensively. Like, okay, maybe is this the week? Is this the week? Is this the week? I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see those Chiefs, Pat Mahomes magical offenses that we're used to seeing. Pat Mahomes doesn't have the same weapons. His best weapon, his tight, is a little bit long in the tooth now. But nevertheless, this team's continue to find different ways to win. Are these different magical out of the blue? I know you didn't win enough to help to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't like the offense overall to say a Super Bowl favorite, but I can't deny that some way, somehow, they always find a way. It's like a Rocky movie. He get his ass whipped for the whole film, and then all of a sudden the music starts playing, and then he just finds a magical energy, and now the hits don't mess with him anymore, and he just knocks the man's out, and he screams Adrian at the end, and he's the champion. That's the Chiefs right now.
Yeah. Chiefs had the Rocky music playing through the first 9 weeks of the season. It feels like, man, it's been the longest continuous compilation of that ever. It's wild, but yeah, look. Sometimes, and I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago, better to be lucky than good. And the Chiefs right now are finding ways to get lucky and win games. Call it what you want, right? Everybody will call it various different things. I think that this win against the Broncos being how it happened, that's definitely one of the rare ways to win a game, Rick. If we're keeping, track of bingo cards on the ways to win a football game and remain undefeated, this is certainly one of the ways to do it, and not one that I saw coming at all. It's against the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Broncos started off really, really good against this team, and they've won the Chiefs have won by their defense. They've won by Mahomes' last-minute rallies, and now put this on your bingo card. Yes, we're going to win by special teams as well. All facets of the game, they're finding ways to win. We'll see how long this keeps up, but until then, they're still undefeated.
Yeah, and the Broncos are in third place in the AFC West. Chiefs still obviously in first, 9-0 undefeated. The Raiders are right behind them though at 6-3. I don't think they're gonna catch them if the Chiefs continue to win games. Well, they can't physically catch them if the Chiefs continue to win games. But once the Chiefs lose, Rick, do you think that the Raiders can catch them if they do end up losing a game at some point? Is that a spiral for the Chiefs?
No.
Just like that. Fair enough. Well, look, from one streak continuing to another one ending, the Saints, they were on a 7-game losing streak. They have a new head coach as well. It was his first game, Darren Rizzi, in his debut game. The Saints beat the Falcons 20-17 and stopped their 7-game losing streak in the process. Now 3-7 on the season for the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints was looking like the Aints. The SF fell off the marquee, and it was just the Aints for this last 7 games that they've been losing. Listen, Usually the players get a boost, the organization get a boost whenever there's a coaching change. It puts everybody on their pins and needles. It puts everybody on their toes. Everyone's kind of focusing more on their craft, and it was really good for them to get a win at home. They really needed it. This was a team that started off 2-0, blowing teams out, putting up 40+ points in their first couple of games. We thought the Saints was almost Super Bowl bound based on the first 2 weeks of the season, and since then they have slid like an 8-year-old at a school park. We all the way down the standings. So congratulations to the teams formerly known as the Aints. You do get your S back. Now we can still call you the Saints because you got to win, and you really needed it. The city needed it. You guys needed it. And kudos to the interim head coach. We know you're not going to have the job for next season, but for right now, baby, you 1-0. Go ahead and stat that record.
1-0 right now for Rizzy for sure, and the Saints and the Panthers rather are tied for last place, or third place, whatever, in the NFC South. Marquez Valdez-Scantling caught 3 passes for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns in that one. Derek Carr played pretty well, too. I don't find his numbers here, but Kamara, on the other hand, the running back, was the one, 109 yards from scrimmage all game. He's still one of those guys who can, in my opinion, still help the Saints get where they need to go. But of course, Saints are just struggling this season in general, so they got a long climb to get back up to first place. But the win against the Falcons certainly helped. Against the division leaders certainly helped.
Absolutely. And Kamara just signed an extension deal, so congratulations. I know he's going to ball out, but I wouldn't play him too hard because this season's a wrap.
Yeah, no,
you definitely. Get ready for next season.
Right, exactly. Keep him healthy for as long as you possibly can. But the Falcons, though, on the other side of things here, they're 6-4 in the conference still, or division still, and are they a playoff team? You think they end up making the playoffs anyway?
Yeah, I think they're one of those bubble teams. Some games they look really, really good. Some games they look okay. I would say in that division, the Falcons has just as good a shot as any other bubble team. Now, when they get in the playoffs, can they make some noise? I don't think so. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins fan, although he's played a lot better this season than I thought he would. So I'm going to give him some credit. But they got a shot to make it. And I guess once you get in, anything can happen. But I think they make the playoffs.
Yeah, anything can and will happen for sure. And the same goes for SimWorld U as well, because we got a new top 25, as we do every new week to start. And there are a few changes in here, some surprises, some maybe not so much depending on who you're talking to. Arkansas does get the number 6 spot, as we had talked about on the broadcast of the last week, Rick. Tennessee all the way down to 24. Miami out completely. San Diego State at number 25 in the crack, making it for the first time. Then undefeated 2-0. One of those teams left there with the undefeated record, and they're at number 25. Rick, anything to stick out to you on this one? Surprising, not surprising, that sort of thing?
I'm a little surprised Tennessee is actually in there at all, but I guess there's a little leftover drip from the glaze that's still dripping down slightly, slow drip. But shout out to San Diego State making the top 25. The only thing I'm looking at now that kind of bothers me is Michigan in the top 20 with 2 games played. They've played 2 games, and guess what, B-Run? They haven't won both those games. They've won 1, lost 1. They're 1-1 in their top 20. Negro, please. You only have 2 games. Why are you in the top? Did you beat Jesus Christ and his saints and the Latter-day Saints for your 1 win? Like, who could you have beaten that was so fantastic that it causes you to get in the top 20 with only 1 win and 1 loss? I don't think a team with 2 games played and only 1 win should be in the top 20, no matter who it was that you played. That's the only thing I'm looking at. that Kenny sticks out to me like a big girl at a skinny girls convention. That's the only thing that I see that sticks out like that. Other than that, pretty good overall. But Michigan with one win in the top 20, I don't think so.
That's I understand where you're coming from, and it's kind of difficult, I guess, when you really look at things for a minute, because there are a handful of teams in the top 25 that only played 3 or 4 games. Maryland at 13, they've only played 3 games. They're 2-1. You mentioned Michigan 1-1. San Diego State, for all the talk about 2 games, Rick, sure they've won both of them, but they only played 2 games so far this season. So by your logic there, they shouldn't be in here either because they've only played 2 games. Sure, they won both of them, but they've only played 2 games.
But they're not in the top 20. You see, they're at 25.
That's fair, yeah.
I'm cool with that. You can't have 1 win on the season and all of a sudden you're top 20. Unless you beat Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints, you cannot have 1 win in the entire season so far and be top 20, in my opinion, when everyone else has a minimum of 4 wins in the top 20. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. I understand that. And just going down the list here again, look at the teams that are here. Texas and Iowa. Texas at 8, Iowa at 9. Texas is really hot. 4-game win streak in a row. Now, obviously, Kentucky at 9 in a row, sure, but we know how good they are. Texas, on the other hand, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, were a little bit what's the word I want to use? Underwhelmed, we'll say. By the start to the season, and then we knew they had Vince Magic and Alex Lattimore coming in, sure, but I didn't know how good this Texas team was actually going to be, and I still really am unsure about them.
I think they're still figuring some things out. I think at some point in time, the natural talent that these guys have takes over, and it gets you over the hump in games while you're trying to figure it out. I think I've called one of the Texans games, the UT games, and they're still figuring some things out. But look, they're getting together. The season is still young. They're winning in spite of. I like UT. I'm a little more concerned about the U of H team. If we talk about Texas, but that's a whole different situation. But I think UT is going to be just fine.
Yeah, Houston isn't in here anymore. North Carolina was what I forgot to mention, actually. They entered the top 25, number 11, Rick, this week. One under UConn.
Yeah, you remember them old Kool-Aid commercials when the kids would be just talking in the kitchen, all of a sudden the Kool-Aid man just bust through the door. Hey, Kool-Aid! That's what UNC did. They just Kool-Aid. They just bust in the top 25. And I ain't mad at them. They had got some really good wins. They're on the climb. This UNC team is for real. Make sure you guys understand it. They are for real.
Yeah, they had 2 wins against 2 top 25 teams last week, which got them in this spot. Well, Rick, I think that's all the time that we have. All the things I had to talk about with you this morning. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it as always. It's good to see you. Good to be back here. We don't have any games tonight, but there are going to be games on Tuesday, though. But of course, North Carolina and Memphis. And then we have California is playing. They got a home game as well. And they are playing against St. John's on Tuesday. That's going to be on SimWorld TV. Look out for those games tomorrow on SimWorld on SimWorld TV. For Rick, I'm Viron. Do all the things you usually do, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of our shows, games, and live streams go live for you guys. And remember, SimWorld is the only place you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld Sport.